Think about the moment you first saw them. A scared, skinny stray hiding under a car, shivering in the rain, watching every movement, ready to run. Most people notice and keep walking, but you didn't. Something inside you paused, tightened, refused to move on. You stayed longer than you planned. You searched for food. You spent money you didn't really have on vet bills for an animal that didn't even know your name yet. People call it kindness. Some call it a phase. Others quietly judge and ask, why take on more pain when the world already has so much? But here's the truth. This wasn't a random act of compassion. It wasn't weakness, and it wasn't impulsive emotion. There is a distinct psychological pattern behind people who rescue stray animals, a deep wiring that makes suffering impossible to ignore and connection impossible to refuse. Today, we're going to explore the psychology of why some people can walk away and why others stop, kneel down, and change a life forever. Why people who rescue strays aren't just animal lovers. Why this pattern reveals profound empathy, unhealed wounds, and an extraordinary capacity to restore trust in a broken world. Let's start with the most visible trait, hyper-empathy turned outward, the empathy overflow. People who rescue strays almost always score exceptionally high on both cognitive and affective empathy. They don't just understand suffering, they feel it viscerally. Seeing a hungry, frightened animal triggers the same neural pathways as witnessing a child in pain. Mirror neurons fire intensely. The stray's fear becomes their fear. The stray's loneliness echoes their own. But unlike most highly empathetic people who learn to numb or look away to protect themselves, rescuers lean in. They convert overwhelming emotion into action. Rescuing becomes emotional regulation. I cannot bear this feeling, so I will fix the source of it. This isn't weakness, it's empathy with courage attached. The wounded healer. Here's the deeper layer so many rescuers share. Personal history of feeling discarded, unwanted, or powerless. Childhood neglect, abandonment, bullying. Trauma that left the message, you are not worth saving. When they see a stray, terrified, untrusting, surviving anyway, they see their younger self. Rescuing the animal becomes symbolic reparenting. I will give you the safety, the patience, the proof of worth that I once needed. Every time the stray finally eats from their hand, or wags a cautious tail, or falls asleep without fear, the rescuer hears an internal whisper, see, you were worth saving too. Psychologists call this identification-based healing. By restoring trust in the animal, they restore trust in the possibility of goodness for themselves, the control restorer. Life can feel chaotic and unfair. Bad things happen to good beings for no reason. But in rescue, there is a clear problem and a direct path to solution. You can feed the hunger, you can heal the wounds, you can earn the trust. For people who feel powerless against larger injustices, poverty, illness, loss, rescue offers rare agency. I cannot fix everything, but I can fix this one life. That tangible impact becomes addictive emotional nourishment. It proves one person's persistent care can change an entire world for a living being. The trust builder. Strays have been betrayed by humans. They flinch, they run, they bite out of fear. Earning their trust requires patience, consistency, and unconditional positive regard. Rescuers excel at this because they understand broken trust from the inside. They know healing isn't linear. They celebrate tiny victories. A first tail wag, a first voluntary touch, a first night without hiding. Watching a terrified animal slowly choose vulnerability again is profound validation that gentleness can overcome trauma. Many rescuers say the moment the strays finally trusts them is one of the most meaningful experiences of their entire life. The justice seeker. Rescuers often have a strong internal law compass and a low tolerance for unfairness. Seeing an innocent creature suffer through no fault of its own activates a deep sense of righteous action. They cannot compartmentalize. This isn't my problem.
To them, it is a moral imperative. Leaving the animal behind would mean becoming complicit in preventable suffering. This isn't guilt, it's ethical consistency, the identity layer. Over time, rescuing becomes core identity. I am the person who stops. I am the person who helps. This identity provides meaning in a world that can feel meaningless. Rescuers often report higher life purpose and resilience. Despite the emotional toll, their self-worth is tied not to achievement or appearance, but to how much love they put into the world.
Types of rescuers. Not all rescuers are driven by the same forces. Which one are you? The serial rescuer. You always have a foster. Your home is a revolving door of healing. You thrive on the transformation process and struggle to say no. The one-at-a-time healer. You pour everything into a single difficult case for months or years. You need to see deep, lasting change before moving on. The TNR warrior. You focus on community cats. Trap, neuter, return. You fight systemic overpopulation with quiet, persistent labor. The emergency responder. You drop everything for the injured stray on the highway. Adrenaline and immediate action fuel you. The behind-the-scenes supporter. You fund others' rescues, drive transports, build shelters. Direct contact overwhelms, but contribution fulfills. The former stray. You were once homeless, neglected, or abused yourself. Rescuing is paying forward the kindness that saved you. The burnout risk. Rescuing extracts a cost. Compassion fatigue is real. Secondary trauma accumulates. Financial strain mounts. Rescuers often neglect self-care because the animals need me more. Many experience saver's guilt. I could have done more. Yet most keep going because the alternative feels morally impossible. The ripple effect. One rescue changes more than the animal. It inspires others. It teaches children empathy. It restores faith in humanity for witnesses who see the transformation. Rescuers quietly prove that individual action matters, that one person's refusal to look away can rewrite an entire story. The boundary paradox. Rescuers are often misunderstood here. People assume they have weak boundaries, that they give too much, feel too much, care too much. But psychologically, rescuers don't lack boundaries. They redefine them. They draw the line not around comfort, but around conscience. They may tolerate personal inconvenience, emotional labor, exhaustion, but they cannot tolerate needless suffering. Their boundary isn't, this is too much for me. It's, this is too wrong to ignore. This paradox confuses others. Why sacrifice time, money, sleep for a being that offers nothing in return? But to the rescuer, the return isn't transactional. It's internal alignment. Walking away would fracture their sense of self. Stopping preserves it. Psychology calls this values-based action, behavior guided by core moral identity, not external reward. Rescuers don't save strays because they can't say no. They do it because saying no would mean betraying who they are. The nervous system connection. There's another quiet truth few talk about. Rescuers often have highly sensitive nervous systems. They detect distress faster. They stay alert longer. They notice what others miss. A limping gait, a missing ear tip, a flinch at sudden movement. Their bodies respond before conscious thought kicks in. This sensitivity can be overwhelming in human systems. Crowds, conflict, noise, cruelty. But with animals, that same sensitivity becomes a gift. Animals communicate in signals, not words. And rescuers are fluent in that language. Their calm voice, slow movements, and patient presence help regulate a frightened animal's nervous system, often before any food or shelter does. This is called co-regulation. The rescuer's steady state teaches the animal safety again. In soothing the stray, they often soothe themselves. Two nervous systems once on edge, finding equilibrium together. Healing not through force, but through shared calm. Final thoughts. If you're someone who rescues strays, who loses sleep over the one you couldn't catch, who cries in the vet parking lot, who celebrates a first purr like a miracle, don't let anyone call it just animals. You're not naive. You're not a sucker. You're not avoiding human problems. You're a person with exceptional empathy, moral courage, and the rare ability to turn pain into fierce action. You see the invisible. You stop for the discarded. You rebuild trust, one frightened soul at a time. In a world that often teaches, look out for yourself, you chose to look out for the ones who cannot ask for help. And every time you do, you quietly heal a small piece of the world.
and a large piece of yourself. So keep carrying the trap in your car. Keep checking that colony at night. Keep opening your home to the broken and the terrified, because some of the most important work happens in silence, with gentle hands and a heart that refuses to walk away. And if you made it this far, and you know exactly what this feels like, that ache, that drive, that quiet pride, hit that like button. Let's show the world how many of us are out there, choosing kindness when no one is watching. And if you want more understanding of the hidden forces that shape us, tap subscribe. And remember, the measure of a heart isn't how much love it receives, but how much it gives to those who have nothing left to offer except cautious hope.